UFC Fight Night Tsarukyan versus Gamrot in the lightweight division. We're going to do a full card prediction for every single one of these fights, and there is a lot of prospects and possible future champions on this card, like Shavkat Rakhmonov, Arman Tsarukyan, maybe Gamrot, Umar Nurmagomedov, Chris Curtis is a good prospect as well, and then there's plenty of other guys as well. So this is the full card, UFC Fight Night Tsarukyan versus Gamrot. We're going to give our full picks and prediction for every single one of these fights. With all of that being said, let's get into the first one here in the women's strawweight division. Jinh Frey and Vanessa Demopoulos in the UFC's women's strawweight division. Now, They're kind of on the older side of the UFC women's strawweight division, in that Vanessa is 33, almost 34 years old. Jinh Frey is currently 37 years old, but Jinh Frey is going to be the taller fighter. She's going to be the lengthier fighter. She's going to be the more experienced fighter. She's going to be, in my opinion, the better wrestler and possibly the better clincher, and striking's pretty even as well. So where do I see both girls winning? Well, for Vanessa Demopoulos, it would be at range, using her striking and just looking to land the powerful shots, and then find a way to get the fight onto the ground, get on top of Jinh Frey, and look for a submission. The main way I see Vanessa winning is going to be by finish, mainly a submission on the ground. The way I see Jinh Frey winning the fight is just pressure, getting Vanessa's back to the cage, getting the fight in the clinch, landing knees, elbows, shots to the body, taking down Vanessa, and just landing little ground and pound shots, and just trying to grind to a decision. That would be the game plan for Jinh Frey, but it's a close one, because Vanessa's kind of hit or miss when she goes out there. She either wins very dominantly with a really good finish, or she loses by a unanimous decision. For this one, I'm going to lean more towards a unanimous decision win for Jinh Frey, in that she's a better wrestler. Yes, she got submitted by Kay Hansen somehow by triangle armbar, but she's a better wrestler. I'm sure she knows Vanessa is going to be looking for that finish on the ground. She's going to stay away from it and just grind out a decision on Vanessa Demopoulos. Again, the striking is going to be very, very even, but with the clinch game of Jinh Frey and the wrestling of Jinh Frey, that'll give her the edge very, very slightly. So Jinh Frey by a very close split decision. Mario Bautista and Brian Kelleher. Boom, Kelleher in the bantamweight division. Now, it's a good fight. We have a veteran with 24 wins, 13 losses, extremely small, at 5'6" tall with a 64-inch reach, taking on Mario Bautista, a up-and-coming fighter in this UFC's bantamweight division, going out there losing to freaking Corey Sandhagen, getting a nice decision win, then an easy knockout win on undefeated Miles Johns. Then he got caught by Trevin Jones right there, but this man is legit. The striking that he's been able to show inside the UFC has been very, very solid. And with the height and the reach over Brian Kelleher, he just needs to stay away from that boom right hand of Brian Kelleher, and he can win the fight on the feet. I don't think he's going to knock out Brian Kelleher. I mean, that's really not too much of an option here. He's not really a guy that gets knocked out too often, so I would say Mario just keeps the fight at range, makes it very technical, lands a lot more volume, just pressures Brian Kelleher forward, defends the takedowns, and wins the fight by a very good unanimous decision. Again, the only way I'm really seeing Kelleher win this fight is kind of using the wrestling and grappling, and yeah, the only way he's going to finish the fight would probably be by that guillotine that he's so good at getting inside the UFC against Ray Rodriguez and Ode Osbourne. But, again, Mario Bautista is not going to go for a takedown on Kelleher. And if he does, he's so tall that I really doubt that it's going to get a submission. But it's a close fight. Brian Kelleher, it only takes one big shot. It only takes one mistake by Mario Bautista going in for a takedown, getting caught by a guillotine. So if Kelleher wins, it's going to be a finish. If Mario wins, probably going to be a decision win, and I'm going to lean Mario Bautista by a unanimous decision. Cody Durden and JP Bays in the UFC flyweight division, 26 and 31 years old. A little bit of a height advantage for Cody Durden, and then about the same reach right there. It's a pretty 50-50 fight. Both guys in the UFC really have not done too good. JP did go out inside the LFA, get a nice TKO win and a submission win on the Contender Series, but when he joined the UFC, got knocked out pretty bad by Bruno Silva right there, and then somehow survived against Montel Jackson. I don't know how he did, but survived like 4 knockdowns and lost that one by a decision. But got taken down a lot in that fight. That's something a lot of people aren't really talking about with the Montel Jackson fight. They're kind of just talking about, oh, JP Buys has such a chin. Didn't get knocked out by Montel Jackson, but no. The real story of that fight was Montel took him down many, many times in the fight. Montel is nowhere near as good of a wrestler as Cody Durden. Now, I'm not saying Cody is like an all-American wrestler or anything like that, but he's a very, very solid wrestler. And in this fight with JP Buys, I honestly think Cody Durden is going to out-wrestle JP Buys for 3 rounds. Striking-wise, yeah, maybe JP has better striking, a little bit more power, a little bit more volume on the feet, but Cody has shown it in the past to just keep on landing takedowns, to keep on grinding, winning those first 2 rounds, and then maybe losing the final round, because his cardio really isn't the best. So, my prediction here is going to be very close, 29-28 for Cody Durden. I think he wins the first and second round, out-wrestling JP Buys. Then JP gets a fight up in the 3rd round, tries to come back with a nice finish in that 3rd and final round, looking to land huge shots, but does not get it, losing the fight by a 29-28 decision. Raulian Paiva and Sergey Morozov in the bantamweight division, 33 and 26 and a half years old. Raulian Paiva going to be a little bit taller and a little bit lengthier than Sergey Morozov right here, and this is going to be a close fight. Raulian Paiva went out there, knocked out Mark De La Rosa, beat Giagos by unanimous decision, then he beat Kyler Phillips by a majority decision in a very, very close fight. But Sergey right here, in my opinion, has the better counterpunching and he has the better wrestling. I mean, Raulian Paiva, I don't know if it was just how good Sean O'Malley is or how bad the striking defense of Raulian Paiva was, but Sean O'Malley was counterpunching Raulian Paiva very, very well in that fight, and that's the main type of striking that Sergey Morozov likes to use. And if he's using that counterpunching throughout this fight, he could honestly have the edge in the striking as well, but he also has the wrestling to fall back on. So even if that counterpunching isn't working for Sergey Morozov, he has another thing to discourage Raulian Paiva from coming in and throwing his combinations. Going to be the wrestling of Sergey Morozov. He went out there, dominated Khalid Taha with wrestling and grappling right there, and won the fight by unanimous decision fairly easily. Other 2 losses, beast. Umar Nurmagomedov, freaking Douglas Silva de Andrade. I mean, he's fighting the legit guys of this UFC bantamweight division. Raulian's good, but I think Sergey edges it out with a very close decision when out wrestling and out counterpunching Raulian Paiva for the very close 29-28 unanimous decision. TJ Brown and Shayilan and Nuerdanbieke in the UFC featherweight division. Now TJ is going to be taller, he's going to be lengthier, he's going to be the better striker, in my opinion, especially with the kickboxing game as well, and with the height and reach is really going to help him, but that's not the main part of his game. He's got 9 submission wins and tends to go out there and try to out-wrestle and out-grapple his opponents. I don't necessarily think that's going to be the best option for him fighting against Shayilan Nuerdanbieke, because Shayilan is a very good wrestler in his own right, has a lot of submission wins in his career, a lot of decision wins, out wrestling and out grappling, so I think it could honestly be more of a stalemate type of fight when it comes to the wrestling and grappling, and I think we'll just see a striking match with Shayilan and TJ Brown. In my opinion, TJ Brown with the taller, with being lengthier than Shayilan, with being the lightweight fighter, moving down to the featherweight division. I think he goes out there, fights Shayilan Nuerdanbieke on the feet for 3 straight rounds, lands the harder shots, lands some more shots, defends the takedown, and wins the fight by a unanimous decision. Tafon Nchukwi and Carlos Ulberg in the UFC light heavyweight division. Now, Carlos Ulberg got a nice win on the Contender Series with a knockout, then lost a knockout to Kennedy Nzechukwu, then he lost to Fabio Cherant. He beat Fabio Cherant right there. But in this fight, going to be a lot taller than Tafon Nchukwi, but he's not going to have the power, guys. This is the only reason I'm going to go the underdog in this fight. I first saw the fight, I was like, I might go Carlos Ulberg. Then I was like, I might go Tafon Nchukwi. Then I might go Carlos Ulberg. I mean, this is such a close fight because it can either go one of two ways. Either Carlos Ulberg uses that height, has very good movement, and makes it an absolutely boring fight like it was last time in the Fabio Cherant one, and he just wins a decision. Just staying at range and wins a decision. Very possible. I can of course see Carlos Ulberg doing that in this fight. But the other outcome to the fight is Tafon Nchukwi, like he did against Azamat Murzakanov, was winning the fight. He was out striking Azamat Murzakanov on the ground, or on the feet, landing the harder shots, landing way more volume, and then boom, he got caught with a flying knee. I mean, it doesn't get more sad for Tafon Nchukwi at that point. And before that, beat Mike Rodriguez, lost to Junyoung Park, beat Jamie Pickett. So in a lot of these fights, especially the Mike Rodriguez-Jamie Pickett fight, he's using a lot of clinch work and a lot of wrestling to kind of grind on his opponents, kind of make their cardio go downhill a little bit. Ulberg's cardio has been known to be not the best, but that was a year and 3 months ago against Kennedy Nzechukwu. But I still think at range, of course, Ulberg is going to have the advantage. With the volume, of course, but Tafon's going to land the more powerful shots. And in the clinch, Tafon's got really good body shots, knees, elbows, and things like that. And he's got the better wrestling and grappling. So I'm going to go Tafon Nchukwi. I think he grinds out Carlos Ulberg in the early rounds, round 1 or round 2. With the wrestling and with the clinch game, Carlos going to be very, very tired coming into that third round, and Tafon's just going to come forward, start throwing bombs, and I think he catches Carlos Ulberg in the third and final round with a KO TKO. Chris Curtis and Rodolfo Viera in the middleweight division. Now, when I first saw this fight, when I first saw Rodolfo Viera, one of the best grapplers in this UFC middleweight division, fighting Chris Curtis, one of the most powerful strikers in this middleweight division, I was like, all right, there's no chance this fight goes to a decision. There's no chance. I mean, Rodolfo's going to submit him, or Chris Curtis is going to knock him out. Those are the only two options. That's what I originally thought. I'm actually leaning the fight goes to a decision. I know, roast me in the comments. I know, but Chris Curtis, being the powerful guy that he is, getting, 4 knockout wins in a row, then 1 decision, then 2 knockout wins in a row. Very, very solid, but there's always going to be that wrestling and grappling of Rodolfo Viera to fall back on. So even if Chris Curtis goes out there and finds a way to hurt Rodolfo Viera, almost knock him out, Rodolfo can kind of play that Charles Oliveira strategy and pretend to be hurt a little bit to kind of get his bearings back, survive a little bit, like Oliveira does to plenty of his opponents. And if Rodolfo Viera gets the fight to the ground on Chris Curtis, in my opinion, has decent enough submission defense and decent enough takedown defense to survive the fight. So I know a lot of you guys are going to be like, nah, Chris Curtis knockout, Rodolfo Viera submission, but I'm leaning the fight goes to a decision, guys. I think Chris Curtis can go out there, land the harder shots on the feet. Rodolfo is going to kind of be playing the fight at range, jabbing 1-2 and things like that. Landing the kicks, as we saw in the Dustin Stoltzfus fight, where he looked very, very good in the kickboxing game. But I think eventually Chris Curtis is going to land the bigger shots, maybe rock Rodolfo Viera in the fight. But again, he's got the Charles Oliveira way to win the fight as well, or to survive the fight. So it's close. I mean, it could take... Chris Curtis can dominate the fight for 3 rounds, and then Rodolfo can land a submission late on in the fight. Rodolfo can land the submission early on in the fight. It's a very, very good fight in the middleweight division, but I'm leaning Chris Curtis by a unanimous decision. Maybe 1 round goes Rodolfo Viera. Can out-wrestle and out-grapple and things like that. But overall, I think Chris Curtis can outstrike him on the feet, defend the takedowns for the most part, and win the fight by a unanimous decision. Really, really good fight in the UFC middleweight division. Umar Nurmagomedov and Nate Maness in the UFC bantamweight division. Nate Maness, a 5 or 6 or even 7 on some bookies underdog against Umar Nurmagomedov. He is 30 years old, in the prime of his MMA career, on a 4-fight win streak, only losing to Taylor Lapilus with a sidekick KO. But I'm definitely leaning Umar. I don't think he should be, this big of a favorite, especially going against a guy that finishes a lot of his fights as well. Submitting Luke Saunders and knocking out Tony Gravely. I don't think he should be this big of an underdog by any means, but Umar's legit, man. Umar is very, very legit. The striking that Umar shows in a lot of his fights is absolutely amazing. He's gonna be the better striker, in my opinion, than than Nate Maness. Maybe Nate Maness has the striking advantage when it comes to the hands and the punches and things like that. But Umar is so good at range with the kicks, the switch kicks, the front kicks to the face, the body kicks, the leg kicks. I mean, his kicking game is absolutely amazing. Nate Maness is gonna have to walk forward right into that kicking game of Umar Nurmagomedov. And I'm going to be honest, there's a possibility Nate Maness just comes forward on Umar looking to land his knockout, land those big shots in the feet, and knock out Umar Nurmagomedov. And there's a chance Umar catches him with a really, really big kick and knocks him out in the first or second round. There's a very good possibility that happens. Another possibility, Umar lands those kicks at range, frustrates Nate Maness. Nate Maness comes forward, Umar lands the takedowns, and finds a way to submit Nate Maness on the ground. So there's plenty of options for Umar Nurmagomedov here on the feet. He can head kick, knock out Nate Maness in the fight. He can body kick, knock out Nate Maness in the fight. He can knock out Nate Maness in the fight for sure. And the other thing is, of course, Nate Maness is going to have to come forward, is going to have to look for the knockout himself, leaving himself vulnerable for the takedown of Umar Nurmagomedov. So either way this fight goes, I'm definitely leaning Umar Nurmagomedov inside the distance, the head kick KO or a submission in the first or second round. Really, really good fight between two very good prospects in this bantamweight division. The winner is getting a top 15 fight. 1,000%. Can't wait for the fight. I got Umar inside the distance. Thiago Moises and Christos Giagos in the lightweight division. Both guys, not doing too good recently, but they're losing to beasts. I mean, look at who Christos Giagos just lost to. Arman freaking Tsarukyan. Draco close right there, then beat Carl Maness, Sean Soriano, Damir Hadzovic. Pretty bad fighters in the UFC lightweight division, whereas Thiago Moises also losing to killers in this UFC lightweight division, like Joel Alvarez, like Islam Makhachev, and then beating Bobby Green, Michael Johnson, Alexander Hernandez. So by far the better competition is Thiago Moises. Thiago Moises is fighting much, much better fighters than Christos Giagos, and he's beating much better fighters as well. I mean, Bobby Green, Johnson, and Alexander Hernandez, although those guys have aspects of their game that are better than Christos Giagos. Christos is definitely a step down from any fighter Thiago Moises has been fighting recently. Thiago's the better striker. He's got more power in his hands. He throws more volume on the ground. He's got the better wrestling. He's got the better jiu-jitsu game, the better submission game, better finishing ability. I mean, come on, man. Thiago Moises is going to win the fight. He's better pretty much everywhere I look at this fight. Every single part of a Thiago Moises Christos Giagos fight, he's going to win. I mean, striking, grappling, I went over it. He's better pretty much everywhere. He did lose to Joe Alvarez. He did lose to Islam Makhachev, but there's no chance in hell Christos Giagos is going to do anything near what Islam did or what Joe Alvarez did. He does not have the skills like those two guys. So, seems like an easy prediction to me. Thiago Moises by domination and winning the fight inside the distance in the first or second rounds. Josh Parisian and Alan Baudot in the UFC's heavyweight division. Josh Parisian, my guy, not the best cardio, I would say. And in this fight here with Alan Baudot and Josh Parisian, loser. Off the Bellator, off to the G Leagues, whatever the case may be. That's what's happening here. They're similar height, similar reach, and things like that, and similar betting odds as well. -115 and -115. Parisian is coming off a loss of Dante Almeida, getting taken down and dominated in that fight. He did beat Roque Martinez, but it was a little bit controversial. Then he lost pretty badly against Parker Porter. This fight with Alan Baudot, I would say Alan Baudot has the striking advantage. He's going to land more power in his hands. He throws a little bit more volume later on in the fight. I'm not talking early on, because early on, Josh Parisian is a beast. Josh Parisian is very, very good early on in a lot of his fights, but later on in the fight, Parisian's cardio goes down the drain, and that is where I definitely expect Alan Baudot to start putting on the pressure, land more shots, land the harder shots, and things like that. So yeah, I'll give round 1 to Josh Parisian. Sure, why not? But round 2, round 3, Alan Baudot is more powerful. He throws more volume. He's just a better striker than Josh Parisian. So if Baudot can survive that early onslaught from Josh Parisian, which I think he will, he should win the fight. in the second and third round and win the fight by a decision. So I'm going to go Baudot by decision, but I'm going to say it right now, why is this fight on the main card? It should be Raulian Paiva, Sergey, Morozov on the main card, or, yeah, that's pretty much the only one I would think. Why is a Josh Parisian, Baudot, two losing record fighters in the UFC, guys that are about to get cut from the UFC? Why are they on the main card? But I'm going to go Baudot to win, and they'll probably stick him on the France card in a few months' time. I got Baudot by a unanimous decision. Magny and Shavkat Rakhmonov in the welterweight division. One of my most confident guys in the card. He is younger than Magny. He's a better finisher than Magny. Yes, Neil's going to be taller. Yes, he's going to be lengthier. But Shavkat's better everywhere. Striking, he's got the better kicks. He's got the better punches. He's got the better wrestling. He's got the better grappling. He's got the better jiu-jitsu. Where does Magny have the advantage, except for at range? I mean, that's the only thing. If he can defend the kicks of Shavkat Rakhmonov and have the best movement of all time, staying at range on Shavkat, yeah, maybe Magny can edge out a decision here. But, dude, this man has spinning kicks. This man pressures your back to the cage, starts throwing bombs. He knocks out every opponent he fights, or he submits every opponent that he fights. And, I mean, come on. We saw what happened with Magny and Michael Chiesa. I mean, that was horrible to watch. Chiesa took him down and dominated him. Max Griffin on the feet rocked Magny there as well. So, I don't know exactly what finish Shavkat is going to get in the fight. No idea what it's going to be, but it's going to be a finish. Shavkat is the better striker. I mean, we saw Max Griffin, a much less credentialed striker than Shavkat Rakhmonov, go out there and almost knock out Magny. Shavkat can do the exact same thing. And Michael Chiesa going out there taking down Magny throughout that entire fight. Shavkat Rakhmonov can do that exact same thing. So this is going to be a domination. Magny's not going to win the fight, guys. If he's going to win, it'll be a decision. Just keeping the fight at range, staying away from the big power shots of Shavkat, and somehow defending the takedowns. But if he wasn't able to defend Michael Chiesa's takedowns, not going to be able to defend the great Shavkat Rakhmonov, future champ right here, in my opinion. Shavkat Rakhmonov in the first or second rounds. Arman Tsarukyan and Mateusz Gamrot in the UFC lightweight division. Arman Tsarukyan, 18 wins and 2 losses. Gamrot, 20 wins and 1 loss right there. 25 and a half years old, 31 and a half years old. A little bit of a height advantage for Gamrot, but a reach advantage for Arman Tsarukyan. But none of that really matters. Let's talk about advantages and disadvantages. Wrestling, I'm gonna say stalemate. I'm honestly just gonna say stalemate because Gamrot went out there, took down Guram Kutitaladze, looked very, very good in doing so. And against Scott Holtzman, knocked him out, submitted Jeremy Stevens, and submitted Diego Viera. I mean, very good. He's got very good wrestling and very good grappling. But Arman does as well. His takedown defense is very, very solid. And his takedowns himself, the double legs at range, are very good as well. And I can't see either guy really out-wrestling and out-grappling the other guy. So I think it's going to be a stalemate in the wrestling and grappling. And again, what happens when it's a stalemate on the grappling, on the grounds? It's going to be 3 rounds or whatever, 5 rounds of striking with 2 very good grapplers. And in the striking game, yes, Gamrot has shown to have some good striking. Knocked out Scott Holtzman very, very well in that fight right there. Still give the advantage to Arman Tsarukyan. Arman is the more powerful puncher than Mateusz Gamrot. He's the faster guy than Mateusz Gamrot as well, and we've seen Gamrot get hurt before, like in the Guram Kutitaladze fight. So I think Arman is going to land the more powerful shots in the feet. Volume's going to be very, very even. Kicking game, neither guy is really the best kicker, but they kind of tend to throw a leg kick, body kick, front kick every now and then. Neither guy's really that good of a kicker, so it's going to be more of a boxing type of fight here with Tsarukyan and Gamrot in this fight, and I think Arman is just going to have the advantage there. Gamrot, if he's pressuring Arman, or if Arman is pressuring Gamrot, either way, Arman is going to land the bigger shots. I mean, Matthews, if just say for example, Gamrot goes out there pressuring forward because maybe he's looking for that takedown, Arman has very good movement, very good takedown defense, good counter left hook, good uppercuts, good overhand rights, and a good jab at range as well. So he's going to walk into a lot of shots if he plans on pressuring Arman Tsarukyan in the fight. And if he does not plan on pressuring Arman Tsarukyan in the fight, well, he's not going to be able to land the takedowns, and it's still going to have Arman winning the fight on the feet. So, yeah, definitely going Arman Tsarukyan. I don't really think he should be like a minus 235 favorite. It should be a little bit less because, you know, Gamrot is a powerful guy himself, is a very experienced guy himself, good wrestling, good grappling, but I'm going to go Arman Tsarukyan by a unanimous decision. Really good fight in the UFC lightweight division. Those are the predictions for UFC Fight Night. Tsarukyan versus Gamrot. I do have Tsarukyan winning his fight by decision. I got Shavkat Rakhmonov winning his fight inside the distance. Whether it's a TKO win, whether it's a submission win, whatever the case may be, you got Shavkat inside the distance. I got Baudot by a decision. Thiago Moises inside the distance. Umar Nurmagomedov inside the distance. Chris Curtis by decision. I know you guys are going to be wondering why. Just go watch the video. I got Tafon Nchukwi inside the distance. TJ Brown decision. Sergey Morozov decision. Cody Durden decision. Mario Bautista decision. And Jinh Frey decision. I'm sure one of those will probably be a finish. Those are the predictions. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, and make sure to turn on notifications as well. And if you want all the bets that we're going to be making for UFC Fight Night, Tsarukyan versus Gamrot, all the bets that I will be suggesting for you guys to make on this card for only $3 in an entire month of bets from me. You can go to the last 10 seconds of this video or any other video and click this become a member for all my MMA bets, one on the left side of the screen. Thanks for watching. Put your predictions down below, like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Let's go.